You right, guys? We're back for another one. We're doing a little review prior to the Brentford Swansea game. That's actually in a couple hours. I'm filming this quite close to the time. Very interesting game. Obviously, of course, one of the teams is going to be moving up into the playoff final to play against either Cardiff or Fulham. That first leg, Fulham won 2-0 as well. So likely to face Fulham, I'd say. But I think today's going to be a very interesting one. It's quite a hard one to call. Brentford and Swansea, both very, very interesting sides. Brentford have been smashing it the whole season. Of course, they finished third, 11 points ahead of Swansea, who qualified in pretty dramatic circumstances. They won 4-1 on the final day, had to overcome a 6-goal deficit to be able to get promoted. Nottingham Forest lost 4-1 at home to Stoke out of absolutely nowhere. And Swansea, of course, picked up the pieces, won 4-1 against Reading and snuck into the playoffs. They then went on to win 1-0 against Brentford, a very dramatic game as well. Rico Henry got sent off. That has now been overturned because it was a horrendous decision, and there was also a penalty that was missed. But Brentford, they ended up struggling with 10 men. Swansea ended up winning 1-0. So now we're into the second game. It's the last game at Griffin Park, so it's Brentford's final game at their home stadium, so they're going to be up for it, of course, on top of the fact that it's a playoff game. They've been in the playoffs a few times before and they haven't ever succeeded. There is a stat that I've got here: the third position in the championship has a 36% promotion rate, whereas the team in sixth has a 15% promotion rate. Obviously, stats aren't everything, and Swansea have been very good this season, despite them only managing to snatch sixth. But their away form is brilliant. They've only lost 4 away games all season. Only 4 for a team in sixth is very impressive. They have actually got the 5th best away form. It's mainly the fact they've drawn a lot of games, but the fact that they can avoid defeat puts them in a good place tonight. One of their 4 losses was against Brentford, though. It was 3-1 as well, which, of course, a repeat of that would see Brentford go through. Unfortunately for Brentford, they have lost their first 3 games. They've lost their last 3 games. It's the first time they've done that this season as well. It's the first time they've lost 3 in a row. Not a good sign for things for them today. But with that front 3 they've got of Watkins, Benrahma, and Mbeumo, they've, as a trio, scored 57 goals. Swansea themselves, as a whole team in 46 games, have only scored 62. So if that puts into comparison the amount of goals they've scored, 57 of Brentford's 80 have been scored by 3 players that all play up in the 3 attacking positions. They're all, of course, fit tonight as well, and they all played against Swansea in the first leg. But with that kind of trio, they're not gonna go very long without scoring. There's a very likely chance they're gonna at least score one of them tonight, especially at home, with Brentford's home form being as strong as it is. They've only lost 4 games at home themselves. 3 of them were by one goal margins. None of them are against really top teams either. They've all been slip ups. So it's not a regular occurrence. And of course, the last home game they lost was against Barnsley on the last day of the season, which if they won, they wouldn't be in this game. They'd be in the Premier League already. So they're going to be there to make up. They're going to be there to make up for their mistakes, especially that front 3. Again, they're unbelievable. And talking of forwards, Ryan Brewster as well for Swansea. He's played only 21 games for Swansea, but he only joined them on loan in January. He scored 10 goals since, and for a 20-year-old, that is very, very good. Obviously, Liverpool have sent him out on loan there, and this is the kind of thing that happens. We saw what happened with Abraham at Aston Villa. I think he scored 23 goals, possibly. I haven't got it in front of me, but 23 goals, and then joined Chelsea back this season, hit 15 goals in the Premier League. It's the Championship standard is getting a lot closer to the Premier League, and these kind of players that perform in the lower leagues can also take that step up and perform in a higher league now, especially with somebody as young as Ryan Brewster as well. But for this evening, I think we're looking at a Brentford. If I had to back something, I'd probably put Brentford to qualify. Literally just because of the attacking threat. But Swansea did look very, very good last game. And again, their away form is dangerous. But even extra time, possibly. I think there's a good chance it's going to be a close game. But Brentford should have all the cards and all the ball in their court. and they're going to want to win their last game at Griffin Park as well. Both teams this season, in regards to actual goal scoring games, both teams have had 23 out of their 46 games in the Championship finished over 2.5 goals. So again, it's a flip of a coin with that one, but the 3-1 in the previous game would imply that there could be goals, and they're both very attacking teams. So it's a complete lottery tonight. But if you're going to be putting on bets, previously mentioned Brian Brewster, he's picked up 7 cards in his 21 games he's played. So that's 1 every 3 games. So the likes of maybe, I think Brentford to qualify, Brian Brewster to score, and maybe Brian Brewster a yellow card as well, will be roughly, I'd probably estimate about 20 to 1. Let me quickly build that for us and we can find out. Of course, this is just a suggestion. Obviously there's plenty of other value in this game, but this is personally what I'll be backing. As you can tell, it's quite off the cuff, but I think there's a good chance that Brian Brewster will get very heavily involved, because Swansea aren't going to want to sit back in a 1-0 lead against one of the most attacking teams in the UK at the moment. But for Brentford to qualify, Brian Brewster to score and Brian Brewster to be carded, you're looking at a 40 to 1 price. That is huge. So I'm going to be putting some of my money on that. I'll also have a little single probably on Brentford to qualify. That is around even money at the moment as well. You can pretty much pick up even money on both teams, to just under even money for either team to qualify. But yeah, 40 to 1 bet. We'll see how this plays out, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.